Later tonight, President Bush is due to announce his new strategy for Iraq, and he's likely to announce a surge of extra troops in a bid to dampen the insurgency in the country. So what would the implications be for British policy? One Labour MP asked the Prime Minister about his Iraq strategy at PMQs.
Will my right honourable friend make a statement to the House on whether we will see a new and improved policy in Iraq?
In respect of the British policy in Iraq, it remains as we've set it out in the weeks leading up to today. However, once the operation in Basra is properly concluded, then yes, I think it would be appropriate for me to report back to the House, and I would be very happy to do so.
Well, that MP, Dawn Butler, joins me now. Dawn Butler, admirably succinct question. I think the Speaker was very pleased. What lay behind it? What were you trying to get out of the Prime Minister?
I think I asked two main points in my question. First, whether we are going to see a new and improved strategy, British strategy, in Iraq. And secondly, whether the Prime Minister will make a statement to the House, on the floor of the House, so that it will be a transparent system. And I think the Prime Minister's response was very interesting, because what he's actually intimated is that the situation in southern Iraq, in Basra, where our British troops are, is substantially different from the situation in Baghdad. So therefore, that says to me that our British policy should be different to that of the US policy.
I mean, do you and your friends in the Labour Party in the Commons think you haven't really been kept informed or consulted enough?
There are concerns. There are serious concerns. I mean, I have serious concerns. I mean, I wasn't around in 2003 when the vote was taken to go to war. If I was around then, I would have probably voted against the war in Iraq. And I think there's been concerns as to whether we have our own British policy or whether we are following the US policy. So with President Bush making his statement in a few hours' time, our time, it's going to be interesting to see what our British policy would be, which I think the Prime Minister's indication today is that we will have a different British policy to that of the US.
Do you think there should be, as it were, when a new policy is announced, there should be a fresh vote on it to endorse it?
I think it's almost too late for that. I think the situation is where it's at, and I think if our British policy includes a gradual withdrawal of our troops from Iraq, which I hope it will include that, then I don't think there's any need to take a vote on that.
Suppose there was a need at some point for a British surge. Things start going wrong in Basra, and the Prime Minister says, well, we need to start sending more people back in.
Then we'd have to have a full and open debate with the military, with everybody, with all the stakeholders, and then possibly a vote on that kind of issue. But I'm hoping that we won't be sending extra troops in.
Finally, you're a Brent MP. How important do you think Iraq is for the popularity of the Labour Party, the standing of the Labour Party, and indeed your chances of re-election when it comes?
I think all our policies are important. I think our Middle East policy is extremely important. I also think that how the policy, how it's all portrayed, so how the media portrays what's happening in Iraq is very important. I mean, nobody likes to hear time and time again that there's been so many killings, so many attacks, so many bombings. What we want to see is some kind of stability in Iraq, in all of Iraq. And that means, although working with our allies and working with the US, it means that we do have to have our own policy, because I think that the British troops are the best in the world. And I think they brought some stability to Basra, and they have helped with the reconstruction of Basra. But I think we need to have a British policy, and we need to have that policy clear and transparent.
Dawn Butler, thank you very much indeed.
Thanks, Adam.
And that's about it. There's just time to tell you about a special programme which I'm hosting tomorrow to discuss what can be done to combat climate change. That's Green Britain.